You are to summon your brother Aaron and his sons to come from among the people of Israel to you, so that they can serve me as Kohanim. Aaron and his sons Nadav, Avihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. You are to make for your brother Aaron garments set apart for serving God, expressing dignity and splendor. Speak to all the craftsmen to whom I have given the spirit of wisdom, and have them make Aaron's garments to set him apart for me, so that he can serve me in the office of Kohen. The garments they are to make are these: a breastplate, a ritual vest, a robe, a checkered tunic, a turban, and a sash. They are to make holy garments for your brother Aaron and his sons, so that he can serve me in the office of Kohen. They are to use gold, blue, purple, scarlet yarn, and fine linen. They are to make the ritual vest of gold, of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and of finely woven linen crafted by a skilled artisan. Attached to its front and back edges are to be two shoulder pieces that can be fastened together. Its decorated belt is to be of the same workmanship and materials: gold, blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and finely woven linen. Take 2 onyx stones and engrave them on the names of the sons of Israel, 6 of their names on one stone and 6 remaining names on the other, in the order of their birth. An engraver should engrave the names of the sons of Israel on the 2 stones, as he would engrave a seal. Mount the stones in gold settings, and put the 2 stones on the shoulder pieces on the vest as stones, calling to mind the sons of Israel. Aaron is to carry their names before Adonai on his 2 shoulders as a reminder. Make gold squares, the 2 chains of pure gold, twisted like cords, attached the cord-like chains to the squares. Make a breastplate for judging. Have it crafted by a skilled artisan. Make it like the work of a ritual vest. Make it of gold, blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and finely woven linen. When folded double, it is to be square, a handspan by a handspan. Put on its settings of stones 4 rows of stones. The first row is to be a carnelian, a topaz, an emerald. The second row, a green feldspar, a sapphire, and a diamond. The third row, an orange zircon, an agate, an amethyst, and the 4th row, a beryl, an onyx, and a jasper. They are to be mounted in their gold settings. The stones will correspond to the names of the 12 tribes of Israel. They are to be engraved with their names as a seal would be engraved to represent the 12 tribes. On the breastplate, make 2 pure gold chains twisted like cords. Also, for the breastplate, make 2 gold rings and put the gold rings at the ends of the breastplate. Put the 2 twisted gold chains and the 2 rings at the 2 ends of the breastplate. Attach the other 2 ends of the twisted chains to the front of the shoulder pieces at the ritual vest. Make 2 gold rings and put them on the 2 ends of the breastplate as its edge, on the side facing it toward the vest. Also, make 2 gold rings and attach them low on the front part of the vest shoulder piece, near the joint, above the vest's decorated belt. Then bind the breastplate by its rings to the rings in the vest with a blue cord, so that it can be on the vest decorated belt, and so that the breastplate won't swing loose from the vest. Aaron will carry the names of the sons of Israel on the breastplate for judging over his heart when he enters the holy place, as a continual reminder before Adonai. You are to put the Urim and the Thummim in the breastplate for judging. They will be over Aaron's heart when he goes into the presence of Adonai. Thus, Aaron will always have the means for making decisions for the people of Israel over his heart when he is in the presence of Adonai. You are to make the robe for the ritual vest entirely of blue. It is to have an opening in the head in the middle. Around the opening is to be a border woven like the neck of a coat of mail, so that it won't tear. On its bottom hem make pomegranates of blue, purple, and scarlet, and put them all the way around, with gold bells between them all the way around. Gold bell, pomegranate, all the way around the hem of the robe. Aaron is to wear it when he ministers, and its sound will be heard whenever he enters the holy place before Adonai and when he leaves, so that he won't die. You are to make an ornament of pure gold and engrave on it a seal, set apart for Adonai. Fasten it to the turban with a blue cord, and on the front of the turban, over Aaron's forehead, because Aaron bears the guilt of any errors committed by the people of Israel in concerning their holy gifts. This ornament is to always be on his forehead, so that the gifts of Adonai will be accepted by him. You are to weave the checkered tunic of fine linen, make a turban of fine linen, and make a belt, the work of a weaver in colors. Likewise, for Aaron's sons, make tunics, sashes, and headgear expressing dignity and splendor. With them clothe your brother Aaron and his sons, then anoint them, inaugurate them, and consecrate them, so that they will be able to serve me in the office of Kohen. Also make for them linen shorts, reaching from waist to thigh, to cover their bare flesh. Aaron and his sons are to wear them when they go into the tent of meeting and when they approach the altar to minister in the holy place, so that they won't incur guilt and die. This is to be a perpetual regulation both for him and for his descendants. Here is what you are to do to consecrate them for ministry to me in the office of Kohen. Take 1 young bull and 2 rams without defect, also matzah cakes, mixed with olive oil, and matzah wafers spread with oil, all made from fine wheat flour. Put them together in a basket, and present them in the basket, along with the bulls and the 2 rams. Bring Aaron and his sons to the entrance of the tent of meeting and wash them with water. Take the garments and put on Aaron the tunic, the robe for the ritual vest, the vest itself, and the breastplate. Fasten the vest on him with its belt. Put the turban on his head and attach the holy ornament on the turban. Then take the anointing oil and anoint him by pouring it on his head. Bring his sons, put tunics on them, wrap sashes around them, Aaron and his sons, and put the headgear on their heads. The office of Kohen is to be theirs by a permanent regulation. Thus you will consecrate Aaron and his sons. Bring the young bull to the front of the tent of meeting. Aaron and his sons are to lay their hands on the bull's head, and you are to slaughter the bull in the presence of Adonai at the entrance of the tent of meeting. Take some of the bull's blood and put it on the horns of the altar with your finger. Pour out the rest of the blood at the base of the altar. Take all the fat that covers the inner organs and the covering of the liver and the 2 kidneys with their fat, and offer them up in smoke on the altar. Put the bull's flesh, skin, and dung you are to destroy by fire outside the camp. It is a sin offering. Take one of the rams. Aaron and his sons are to lay their hands on the ram's head, and you are to slaughter the ram. Take its blood and splash it on the sides of the altar. Quarter the ram, wash the inner organs and the lower parts of the legs, and put them with the quarters in the head. Then offer up the whole ram in smoke on the altar. It is a burnt offering for Adonai, a pleasing aroma, an offering made to Adonai by fire. Take the other ram. Aaron and his sons are to lay their hands on the ram's head, and you are to slaughter the ram. Take some of its blood and put it on the lobe of Aaron's right ear, on the lobe of his sons' right ears, on the thumbs of their right hands, and on the big toe of their right feet. Take the rest of the blood and splash it on the sides of the altar. Then take some of the blood that is on the altar and some of the anointing oil and sprinkle it on Aaron and his clothing and on his sons and the clothing of his sons with him, so that he and his clothing will be consecrated, and with him his sons and his sons' clothing. Also take the fat from the ram and the fat tail and the fat that covers the inner organs, the 2 kidneys, the fat covering them and the right thigh, for it is a ram of consecration, along with 1 loaf of bread, 1 cake of oiled bread, and 1 wafer from the basket of matzah, which is before Adonai, and put it on all the hands of Aaron and his sons. They are to wave them as a wave offering in the presence of Adonai. Then take them back and burn them up in smoke on the altar, on top of the burnt offering, to be a pleasing aroma before Adonai. It is an offering made to Adonai by fire. Take the breast of the ram for Aaron's consecration, and wave it as a wave offering before Adonai. It will be your share. Consecrate the breast of the wave offering and the thigh of any contribution that has been waved and raised up, whether from the ram of consecration or from anything else meant for Aaron and his sons. This will belong to Aaron and his sons as their share perpetually due from the people of Israel. It will be a contribution from the people of Israel, from their peace offerings, their contribution to Adonai. The holy garments of Aaron will be used by his sons after him. They will be anointed and consecrated in them. The son who becomes Kohen in his place, who comes into the tent of meeting to serve in the holy place, is to wear them for 7 days. Take the ram of consecration and boil its meat in a holy place. Aaron and his sons will eat the ram's meat and the bread in the basket, the entrance of the tent of meeting. They are to eat the things with which atonement was made for them, to inaugurate and consecrate them. No one else is to eat this food, because it is holy. If any of the meat for the consecration or any of the bread remains until morning, burn up what remains. It is not to be eaten, because it is holy. Carry out all these orders I have given you concerning Aaron and his sons. You are to spend 7 days consecrating them. Each day offer a young bull as a sin offering, besides the other offerings of atonement. Offer the sin offering on the altar as your atonement for it. Then anoint it to consecrate it. 7 days you will make atonement on the altar and consecrate it. Thus the altar will be especially holy, and whatever touches the altar will become holy. Now this is what you are to offer on the altar: 2 lambs a year old, regularly every day. The 1 lamb you are to offer in the morning, and the other lamb at dusk. With the 1 lamb, offer 2 quarts of finely ground flour mixed with 1 quart of oil from pressed olives, along with 1 quart of wine as a drink offering. The other lamb you are to offer at dusk. Do with it as with the morning grain and drink offerings. It will be a pleasing aroma, an offering made to Adonai by fire. Through all your generation, this is to be a regular burnt offering at the entrance to the tent of meeting before Adonai. There is where I will meet with you to speak with you. There I will meet with the people of Israel, and the place will be consecrated by my glory. I will consecrate the tent of meeting and the altar. Likewise, I will consecrate Aaron and his sons to serve me in the office of Kohen. Then I will live with the people of Israel and be their God. They will know that I am Adonai their God, who brought them out of the land of Egypt in order to live with them. I am Adonai their God. You are to make an altar on which to burn incense. Make it of acacia wood. It is to be 18 inches square and 3 feet high. Its horns are to be 1 piece with it. Overlay it with pure gold. Its top all around its side and its horns, and put around it a molding of gold. Make 2 rings, 2 gold rings, for it under its molding at the 2 corners on both sides. This is where the carrying poles will go. Make the poles of acacia wood and overlay them with gold. Place it in front of the curtain by the ark for the testimony. In front of the ark cover that is over the testimony, where I will meet with you. Aaron will burn fragrant incense on it as a pleasing aroma every morning. He is to burn it when he prepares the lamps. Aaron is also to burn it when he lights the lamps at dusk. This is a regular burning of incense before Adonai through all your generations. You are not to offer unauthorized incense on it, or a burnt offering or a grain offering, and you are not to pour a drink offering on it. Aaron is to make atonement on its horns once a year. With the blood of the sin offering of atonement, he is to make atonement for it once a year through all your generations. It is especially holy to Adonai. Adonai said to Moshe, when you take a census of the people of Israel and register them, each upon registration is to pay a ransom for his life to Adonai, to avoid any breakout of plague among them during the time of the census. Everyone subject to the census is to pay an offering to Adonai half a shekel, 1/5 ounce of silver, by the standard of the sanctuary. A shekel equals 20 gerahs. Everyone over 20 years of age who is subject to the census is to give this offering to Adonai. The rich are not to give more, and the poor less than a half shekel when giving to Adonai, according Adonai's offering, to atone for your lives. You are to take the atonement money from the people of Israel and use it for the service in the tent of meeting, so that it will be a reminder of the people of Israel before Adonai to atone for your lives. Adonai said to Moshe, you are to make a basin of bronze, with a base of bronze for washing. Place it between the tent of meeting and the altar, and put water in it. Aaron and his sons will wash their hands and their feet there. When they enter the tent of meeting, they are to wash with water, so that they won't die. Also, when they approach the altar to minister by burning an offering for Adonai, they are to wash their hands and feet, so that they won't die. This is to be a perpetual law for them through all their generations. Adonai said to Moshe, take the best spices, 500 shekels of myrrh, 12.5 pounds. Half this amount, 250 shekels. Of aromatic cinnamon, 6 1/4 pounds. 250 shekels of aromatic cane. 500 shekels of cassia, use the sanctuary standard, and 1 gallon of olive oil. And make them into a holy anointing. Blend it and perfume it as would an expert perfume maker. It will be a holy anointing oil. Use it to atone the tent of meeting, the ark of the testimony, the table and all its utensils, the menorah and all its utensils, the incense altar, the altar for burnt offering and all its utensils, and the basin with its base. You are to consecrate them. They will be especially holy, and whatever touches them will be holy. Then you are to anoint Aaron and his sons. You are to consecrate them to serve me in the office of Kohanim. Tell the people of Israel, this is to be a holy anointing oil for me through all your generations. It is not to be used for anointing a person's body, and you are not to make any like it. With the same composition of ingredients, it is holy, and you are to treat it as holy. Whoever makes any like it or uses it on any unauthorized person is to be cut off from his people. Adonai said to Moshe, take aromatic plant substances, balsam raisin, sweet anacha, root and bitter galbanum gum. These spices along with frankincense, all in equal quantities, and make incense, blend, and perfumed, as would an expert perfumer maker, salted, pure, and holy. You are to grind up some of it very finely and put it in front of the testimony of tent of meeting, where I will meet with you. You are to regard it as especially holy. You are not to make it for your own use, any incense like it, with the same composition of ingredients. You are to treat it as holy for Adonai. Whoever makes up any like it to use as perfume is to be cut off from his people.